Good morning. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Hey, welcome to Monday. I'm back, and we've got a lot of weather to talk about. We've got some, I guess it almost sounds like a Clint Eastwood movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We'll start with the bad and the ugly. That's tonight and the next two nights where we could have frost or freezing temperatures on the way. So don't get too antsy right now. You got to wait until looks like Wednesday to start planting a garden because we have some very cold nights on the way tonight, especially, and even Wednesday morning looks like it'd be a little frosty. Then we get a big temperature rebound and we'll eventually start to turn into a showery pattern. But you know what? Even though some of the lakes are at record high water levels, we could start to certainly use those showers now. All right, here we go. Now, it's a little bit goofy because there's a freeze warning in effect for parts of Michigan, but I'll tell you, everybody is going to get in on the freeze. And the reason why is the Weather Service figures that the growing season has started in the southern half of lower Michigan, and it hasn't in the northern half, and I don't necessarily think that that's true. So point being is anywhere you see the blue, you're officially under a freeze warning, but I'm going to show you the temperatures, and they will actually be below freezing in most places. Like Tuscola County in the thumb is not in the freeze warning. Growing season has started, Weather Service there, and in Bay County, and you will have probably freezing temperatures also there. All right, so these are the forecasted low temperatures over the next several days. And there you can see it. This is actually this morning. Tomorrow morning, low temperatures in the upper 20s in a lot of places. Maybe the good news for the fruit industry is southwest lower Michigan, the far southwest, you might stay at 32 degrees. Hey, I forgot. It's Monday. I got to say hi to some people. Hey, good morning, Janice Glasser from Kalamazoo, Dave Dake from Jackson. Good morning. Odin Wicks, still sleeping? Good morning, Brian Holden from Grand Ledge and Clarkston. Good morning, Tamara Pearsall. All right, so here we go. Tomorrow morning is probably the coldest morning, and look at northern Michigan. There will likely be some damage to fruit trees when you get down into the low to mid 20s in the fruit growing areas. This is Wednesday morning, and still we're about 3 to maybe 6 hours from missing a frost on Wednesday. The skies are going to clear Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and then the wind will die, and then the wind will turn to the south Wednesday morning, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. If it could do that at 5 in the morning, it would keep us from a frost, but it doesn't look like it. And on these frosts, on the last day of a cold spell, timing is such an issue, okay? Okay, so, and then here are the temperatures for Thursday morning, and we start our warm-up. We don't have to worry about frost in any major areas. Now, the eastern UP, northeast lower, you still are in the time period where you typically have not had your last frost, so that's probably not out of the ordinary for you. And then as we go into Friday morning and Saturday morning, the morning temperatures start to come up. Let's look at something better, though. How about the afternoon temperatures? Now, not so good today. Temperatures for highs only in the 40s. We should be around 66, 67, 68 in the southern half of lower Michigan. So we're 20 degrees colder than normal today. Tomorrow, a little bit better, into the 50s. Wednesday, about 60 degrees, and hopefully you're seated. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s to near 70 or so in the southern half of lower Michigan. That would be by Thursday. Friday, also upper 60s to 70. And we've been, hammered with the cold for a couple of weeks now, so this may feel bizarre, but this is actually nearly normal. Okay. And then as we get into the weekend, temperatures will stay mild, and it will just depend on when clumps of thunderstorms come through. If we get some clearing, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll be into the 70s. If we get the clump of thunderstorms in the middle of the day, probably be held back in the 60s. But the point being is it'll be a warm rain and not a cold rain with snow. All right, sorry, I got to do this to you. I got to show you in-depth stuff. So we're going to take a look at the European model. And it's got a lot of squiggly lines on it, but you'll get a lot of information off of this. So sorry here. All right, so we can go out 10 days with this, and I want to show you the temperature pattern change. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go into Tuesday. Yeah, we should be dry, although cold. Spotty lake effect rain or snow shower in northern Michigan, possible. This is Wednesday morning. And see what I'm talking about there? Wednesday morning, no pressure lines over Michigan. That means a light wind and the warmth just off to the west, but not flowing into Michigan just yet. That's why we're about 6 hours from avoiding another frost, or in this case, we're actually 6 hours into having a frost. But then by Wednesday, the warmer air starts to come back in. And by Wednesday night and Thursday, we start to get into the shower and thunderstorm pattern as the moisture feeds in from the Gulf of Mexico up through Missouri, up through Illinois, and into southern Michigan at least. So a couple of clumps of showers and thunderstorms needed at this time now, because we have dried out quite a bit Thursday into Friday. And as we go into the weekend, another clump of showers and thunderstorms, again needed, but we don't want it on the weekend, especially with what we've been through. All right, Bill Hobart loves the squigglies. And basically what you're seeing is the cold air has really backed off up into Canada. It's still there. That kind of worries me, but gardeners, I think after Wednesday morning, you got to go for it. You can't wait forever in Michigan. A lot of the old timers say Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, that is a good weekend, especially if you only have time to do it then. And that probably helps you avoid any last minute frost if that's possible. But we're into early next week and we're getting into a southwesterly flow. And this model, the warmest, actually, dare I say, brings us toward 80 degrees sometime next week. It would depend, again, on when sunshine hits and when thunder showers hit. All right, how much precipitation? Well, this first batch coming through Thursday into Friday is probably an inch or more in the southern half of lower Michigan, inch and a half, maybe in thunderstorms, maybe some areas of 2 inches. We can use an inch on crops that are planted already. And then as we go through the next 10 days, you're seeing a couple of inches in the southern half of lower Michigan. That's about normal for this time of the year, maybe just a touch heavier than normal. And again, it's going to be useful rainfall, probably not coming all at once, but coming over the course of 3 and 6 hours. So definitely. And we'll have some more fun here. I do have a post up that says, finally some good news. Let's see here. Let me try to find it for you. It says, finally some good news about something not seen in Michigan in a month or so. And here that elusive thing is. Let's look at the high temperatures. Okay, let's take a look. Today we know that it's on the chilly side. Tuesday, a little bit better. Wednesday, now this is off the European model, the warmest model. Hey, good morning, Tom Ramsey. Good morning, Sterling Heights. Amy Smock, yeah, that would be a great day to pour cement on Wednesday. There it is, dry and about 60. Then we're at Thursday, and we're at Friday. And Saturday, this model bringing the clump of thunderstorms through, so you see the cooler pattern. And then we get into early next week, Monday and Tuesday. And hey, this is 10 days out. I don't like to believe it that far out. the pattern has the potential, and I just figured we could use a good shot in the arm, right? As next week, we could be approaching 80 degrees. Now, wait a minute now. We've got our first complaint about heat and humidity, Karen. We got to hold off on that a little bit. So there you have your rundown of what's going on. We have a freeze warning for, I would call for everybody. Tonight, Tuesday morning, coldest morning. If you dodged a bullet Saturday morning and didn't cover things, cover them tomorrow morning, because the sky's clear, the winds die, and in some places don't blow off of the warmer lake water. So we might lose that lake warming effect. And also Wednesday morning. Then by Wednesday, once the frost burns off, you're safe to pretty much hit the garden and hit the landscaping if you want to do so. We'll watch toward the end of the week as we get into a showery and thunder showery pattern, and that's going to be needed at that time. Hey, so let's say hi to some folks. Bill Obar wants to bring on the heat. It's slow, I think, but I think we'll be surprised at how quickly it could turn around. Good morning, Jan from St. Joseph, and good morning, Kevin from Genesee. David Bastador III. I like that name. It's got a ring to it. Wise man. Plants have been covered since Friday. Keep them covered until 9, 10 a.m. Wednesday or so. Brenda Straw, good morning. And good morning, Sherry Whale from Farwell. So there you have it. Improving weather after a freeze warning over the next 2 days. Hang in there. We got some springtime weather coming. A dramatic improvement as we head toward the second half of the week. Thanks for joining me. I'm back this week. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a safe and healthy